Orca versus giant tuna. The sea was calm that morning. Waves moved slowly, carrying the golden reflection of the rising sun. A small group of people were on a boat, enjoying the peaceful view. They expected to see dolphins or maybe a whale, but no one knew they were about to witness something extraordinary. Far below the surface, an orca was swimming with power and grace. His name was Kale, known to the locals as the Black King of the Ocean. Kale was massive, his black and white body shining under the water. He was strong, fast, and feared by every creature in the sea. Orcas were hunters, and Kale was the best among them. On the other side of the reef, another giant moved. It was a tuna, but not an ordinary tuna. This was a giant bluefin tuna, weighing almost 1,000 pounds, with muscles like steel and speed that could match even the fastest predators. Fishermen called it the silver arrow. For years, no one had been able to catch it. It was fast, clever, and powerful. But today, its fate would change. Kale swam silently, feeling the vibrations of the water. His sonar picked up movement, fast, heavy, strong. His instincts told him this was no ordinary fish. Kale turned sharply, and his dark eyes locked on the shining body of the giant tuna. The tuna darted through the water like lightning, its silver scales flashing under the sunlight. For a moment, predator and prey measured each other. The ocean suddenly felt tense, like it was holding its breath. On the boat above, a little boy pointed at the water. "Look! Look down there. Something big is moving." The tourists leaned over the railing. First, they saw the black shadow of the orca. Then, just a few feet away, the silver flash of the giant tuna appeared. Gasps filled the air. "Is that a tuna?" one man whispered. "And that's an orca," another shouted. "They're going to fight." Excitement and fear mixed together. Phones and cameras were lifted. No one wanted to miss this battle. The tuna made the first move. With a burst of speed, it shot forward, trying to escape Kale's gaze. But Kale was faster. With one powerful stroke of his tail, he closed the distance. The tuna twisted left, then right, cutting through the water like a sword. It was a duel of speed and strength. Kale lunged, snapping his jaws, but the tuna slipped away, leaving only bubbles behind. The crowd on the boat cheered and shouted. It was like watching two gladiators in an underwater arena. Kale didn't give up. He knew this tuna was strong, but he was patient. Orcas were not just hunters, they were strategists. He circled the tuna, forcing it closer to the surface. The tuna fought back, ramming with its head and slapping its tail. Water splashed high, and the people above screamed in shock. The fight had only just begun. The water exploded with energy as Kale and the giant tuna clashed again. From the boat, it looked like the ocean itself was alive, waves crashing, foam rising, and shadows twisting beneath the surface. The tourists held their breath, their eyes glued to the wild scene below. Kale lunged forward, his massive jaws wide open. The tuna dodged at the last second, shooting upward with incredible speed. Its silver body sparkled under the sunlight, making it look like a living blade slicing through the sea. People gasped as the tuna leapt partly out of the water before splashing back down, sending a spray across the boat. "Did you see that?" a woman cried. "That fish is huge," shouted another. "And the orca, he's not giving up." Kale wasn't frustrated. He knew this fight wasn't about one strike. It was about patience. The tuna was fast, but Kale was smarter. Orcas didn't just attack, they planned. With every failed bite, Kale was learning. He studied the tuna's movements, the way it twisted left when threatened, the way it dived deep after every dodge. The tuna, however, was no ordinary prey. It fought back with surprising courage. It rammed Kale's side with its hard head, sending vibrations through his massive body. Kale growled underwater, a deep, echoing sound that made the spectators above shiver even though they couldn't hear it clearly. The tuna whipped its tail again, striking Kale's face. For a moment, the orca pulled back, blinking against the sting. Cheers rose from the boat. "The fish is fighting back," a man yelled, almost as if he were cheering for the underdog. But Kale was not just any hunter. He was the king of this part of the ocean. Shaking off the pain, he circled wider, forcing the tuna closer to the shallow reef. The tuna tried to dive deep, but Kale cut it off, blocking every path. The chase became faster, the turns sharper, the splashes louder. The tourists were screaming now, some in fear, some in thrill. It's like watching a sea monster battle. Who will win? The orca or the giant fish? Then came the first serious strike. With lightning speed, Kale twisted his body and slammed his tail against the water. The sudden force created a wave that pushed the tuna off balance. In that split second of weakness, Kale lunged. His teeth grazed the tuna's side, tearing off a chunk of flesh. Blood clouded the water. A collective gasp echoed from the boat. "Oh my God, he bit it," someone cried. The water around them turned red, and the atmosphere shifted. This was no longer just a playful chase. This was survival. The tuna, wounded but not broken, thrashed wildly. It shot forward with desperate strength, smashing into Kale's body again and again. Kale took the hits but didn't retreat. His eyes burned with determination. He was ready to end this fight, but the tuna was not ready to die. The battle was only growing more violent. The ocean churned with chaos. Blood from the tuna's wound mixed with foam and bubbles, painting the water a deep shade of red. The tourists on the boat leaned over the edge, their hearts racing as they tried to capture every moment with their phones and cameras. But deep inside, many of them were trembling. This was no show, this was raw, untamed nature. Kale, the mighty orca, circled his prey with relentless focus. The tuna, though bleeding, still darted with bursts of speed. It fought with every ounce of strength left in its body, crashing into Kale again and again. Each strike echoed with desperation. The giant fish refused to surrender. "Come on, escape," one of the children whispered, hoping the silver arrow would survive. But others shook their heads. "The orca is too powerful. It's only a matter of time." Kale waited for the perfect moment. Orcas were patient hunters. He let the tuna exhaust itself, darting in every direction, wasting its energy. The tuna's speed slowed, its movements less sharp. It was tired, bleeding, and losing strength. And Kale was just getting started. With a sudden burst, Kale shot upward from below, his massive jaws open wide. The tourists screamed as the water erupted, the orca slamming into the tuna with unstoppable force. His teeth sank deep into the fish's side. The tuna thrashed, its body twisting violently, but Kale's grip was iron. Blood sprayed into the sea, and the surface boiled with the struggle. The tourists covered their mouths, horrified yet unable to look away. "He's killing it," a woman whispered. "This is brutal," another muttered. Yet their eyes never left the scene. The tuna tried one last desperate move. It launched itself toward the open water, hoping to break free. But Kale was faster. With incredible strength, he dragged the giant fish back beneath the waves. The surface went silent for a moment, nothing but ripples and red water. Then, with terrifying power, Kale burst upward again, this time with the lifeless body of the tuna clamped in his jaws. His black and white body rose like a dark titan against the setting sun, and the tuna dangled helplessly from his mouth. The boat erupted in gasps and cries. Some people even dropped their phones in shock. "Oh my God! He ate it alive. This is nature's power." Kale thrashed the giant tuna one final time, tearing it apart piece by piece. He devoured the fish in the bloody water, his victory unquestionable. Every bite echoed with the truth of the ocean, here, only the strongest survive. When it was over, Kale swam slowly around the boat, his dark eyes glancing up at the humans. For a moment, it felt like he was showing them his triumph. The sea around him was calm again, though stained with the memory of the battle. The tourists stood in silence. No one cheered now. Instead, they felt something deeper: respect, fear, awe. They had just witnessed the raw law of nature, where beauty and brutality lived side by side. As the boat drifted away, the story of what they had seen spread among them like wildfire. None of them would ever forget the day they watched an orca defeat the giant silver arrow of the ocean. And deep beneath the waves, Kale swam proudly, the undisputed king of his kingdom.